Hi, my name's Sam Moss, and I thought I'd do a quick tutorial for authors who have found that a story that they've published is no longer available. So, let's say you've published a story maybe a couple years ago, and the site that published that story maybe went offline or disappeared, or for some other reason, the link that you had to that story on your author website or your portfolio or something like that just goes to a dead link. Doesn't go anywhere. I'll show an example of what that looks like. A lot of times authors think that if the story or the poem or essay or whatever is no longer available at the link where it was first published, that the story is gone. And that's not really the case. It may be, but there are some options to check out, and I'll show a really good one here. So over here, this is my author website. These are my credits. And in 2021, I published a story called The Catch in this journal called Young Mag. So I put the link that was provided to me in my portfolio on my credits page. And at some point in the last couple years, the site went down. And this happens from time to time. So if I click on this link here, it just doesn't go anywhere. So, the first thing to do is maybe to check in with the editor or the publisher or someone who works at the magazine or the website and see if, maybe the site is down temporarily, or if something else has happened, maybe the site's moved, maybe there's a new link that you can go to. I'm pretty positive that this site no longer exists. And so here's what you can do in a case like this. So there's an organization called the Internet Archive, and they have a page called the Wayback Machine. And the way the Wayback Machine works is it's constantly crawling the internet and taking snapshots of many, many pages on the internet. And it's even taking snapshots of larger pages like Facebook and Google, but it's always crawling, and there's a good chance that it's taken a snapshot of the page that your story was on, so long as it wasn't behind a password protected page or something like that. There's a good chance that your page has been crawled. So you can either search Wayback Machine in your search engine or go to this URL here, web.archive.org. So I'm going to click on the Wayback Machine, and it's very easy to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this URL, the one that doesn't work. I'm going to make sure I get the whole thing from the HTTPS all the way out to the full path here. I'm going to copy that, paste it in here, and hit enter. So what we're seeing here is a list of the times that this specific page has been crawled. So, for pages that have been around for a while, there's going to be bars, these dark bars here. Every one of these dark bars is a time the page has been crawled. So we can see that the page was crawled a couple times in the first half of 2021, but not since then. So in order to find a snapshot of this page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on 2021 here, and it's going to show us the months. And then each one of these blue dots represents a time that the page was crawled. Now, if you suspect that maybe things changed over time with your page, what you're going to want to do is probably find the latest crawl. So June 12th looks like it was the latest crawl. It said it took 2 snapshots on this day. And you should be able to just click on this timestamp right here. So this is the time the page was crawled. And it's going to have to go in and kind of pull the page up from its memory. So don't be worried. This might take 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. But you can see here that this is the story. And as far as I can tell, this looks exactly like it did when it was published. And this snapshot should be around for as long as the Wayback Machine exists, which is hopefully forever. So at this point, what I can do is I can copy this URL, and we can see that the URL, so the original URL is in here. That should be the one that was originally in my site, but that's appended to this web archive URL. So in order to use this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the whole thing. And I can now paste this into, wherever it was used before. So what I'm going to do here, I'm not going to show this on my screen, but I'm going to go into my website. I'm going to, I work in code, so I'm going to paste the URL into my code, but you could paste this into your Squarespace site or Wix or whatever. So now I've pasted it in another window that you can't see, and I'm going to reload this page, and I'm going to hit the link here, and it should take me to the Wayback Machine. So now when I click on that link, the user or the interested reader should be able to find this story in the Wayback Machine. So, obviously there are a couple caveats here. So the one caveat is, you've got the Wayback Machine calendar up here, which, isn't ideal, but, a user can close that like that. I don't think there's a way, there may or may not be a way to remove that. You can look into that if you'd like. And then the other caveat, obviously, is if you put in your URL here and it wasn't scanned by the Wayback Machine, between the time that it went live and the time that the site went down or whatever happened, then you are going to be out of luck. So, here we see the black bars for when the page was crawled. But if you don't see any black bars here, then you may have to look for other options, or you may be out of luck. But so long as it's been crawled by the Wayback Machine, and you can see that this page was crawled about once a month for 4 to 6 months, then you should be in luck and you should be able to use that URL. So yeah, just to recap, go to your site or whatever link that you had before that wasn't working. Take that link, come to the Wayback Machine, drop it in here, and see if it was crawled, and then go to a snapshot, copy that snapshot, and use that link instead. Anywhere that you would use that original link, you should be able to use this link, and you should be good to go. All right, so that's this little tutorial. So a little bit about me. My name's Sam Moss. I'm an author, and I also run a site called Ergot. Publishes experimental fiction. And yeah, I like to help out authors who are new and kind of share some of these tips and tricks that I've learned during my time in writing. All right. Thanks for watching.